Mhm. Sorry, it's just taking a little bit. All right. So, Antonio, do you want me to go ahead and just start do a little introduction and then just start with your PowerPoint? Also, by the way, I did already have given out the breakdown sheet. So
Okay.
that way, if Rain does have it, in case you need him to have it now or later, but I already gave it
Yeah,
away.
probably later, but it's okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, hold on a second. All right, and I just tagged you on Facebook. Perfect. All right. All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode, in which we'll talk about real estate goals for 2021. And we have our special guest here, Antonio Hernandez. And for those of you guys that don't know who Antonio Hernandez, he's been in the real estate business for way over 10 years. He's personally have not only funded his real estate deals, but also have funded hundreds of real estate deals throughout different types of networks, different RIAs. He handles a lot of different, all types of real estate investments, such as wholesaling, fix and flips, and so many different types of industries that he's dealt with. So, and then my name's Jose Baeza. For those of you guys that don't know me, I specialize in raising capital for entrepreneurs. And Antonio, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what is it that we can expect out of today's little podcast here?
Thank you, Jose, for the introduction. Yeah, as well, everybody knows what you do. I mean, you raise capital for a small business and entrepreneurs and people who wants to use, money for different things, right? Like real estate. Um, but I started to do real estate. I mean, I was a loan officer for more than 15 years. Almost 5 years ago, I started doing some fix and flips and also start investing and doing loans for other investors. So today, we done probably about 500 or more transactions, between fix and flips, rentals, new construction, mixed use, multi-unit. So anything that a regular bank doesn't do, we can do it. So, but like everybody else, we all been hit, with the pandemic, and the last year wasn't a great year for a lot of people, and we're just trying to give people hope. And with this new, new vision 2021, we just want to, put a little bit of goals, and see how you can accomplish something, through this. We're going to have some handouts, we're going to have a PowerPoint, showing what you can do so you can fulfill your goals for 2021. How can you start investing? What kind of deals can you do? How can you do that? How can you call, new borrowers? How can you call, people who are selling houses? How can you start doing your real estate business? So that was the idea, to get everybody, some steps so they can get this, to the next level. I know, when I start doing it, I start doing wholesales, then I start doing fix and flips, then I start doing, rentals. So a lot of people trying to get into this business, but they don't know how. So we're going to give them some steps, so how you can not only, have a plan, but also, do step by step so you can get some stuff done, so that's the idea of the new vision 2021. And basically, we call it new vision 2021 because like I say, 2020 was a very difficult year. I mean, But at the end, I think it wasn't too bad for a lot of investors. I mean, I seen a lot of new applications. A lot of people bought properties, a lot of rentals. So this 2021 is going to be a rental year because everybody is, is trying to buy properties, but they don't want to, sell them because obviously with all the unemployment, with people, losing their jobs, it's going to be a year where, I mean, even fix and flips, if the margin is pretty good, you can still make money. But, people is going to try to get into rentals because there's going to be a lot of people who can, they're not going to be able to afford a house, or they're not going to be able to qualify, because they lose their job. So this is what the new 2021 vision for real estate investing looks like. So if you have the PowerPoint, Jose, we can go ahead and start.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So let me go ahead and share my screen so everyone can see. And that way, we will go ahead and get this going. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much for making yourself available, Antonio, and sharing a lot of that knowledge that you currently have for all of us. So let me take a look. And can you guys see my screen now? Okay, let's see.
Yes, we could see it.
All right, cool.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and then we'll
So
start.
basically, the new, like I say, the new vision 2021 for real estate investors, brought to you by the investor funding. We can do all kind of loans, something that the regular lenders can do. Usually we can do it, especially for investors, fix and flip, um, and rentals and mixed use, commercial, multi-unit. So these are some of the things that we're gonna talk about, like who's investor funding, how to prepare, for the lending on 2021. What's this vision 2021? We're gonna review some, of the previous year goals. We're gonna prepare new goals for the next year. We're gonna put a plan in action, and we're gonna set up actions, points, so then you can go ahead and start, your business. Also, we're gonna do some breakdowns of steps or actions. So if you wanna do, wholesale, how many people you need to call a day or a week in order for you to get, to some houses. If you want to be an investor, and do fix and flips, how many people do you need to call? How many realtors do you need to call? How many um, how many applications you're gonna do in order for you to get, let's say, to 5, 10 properties a year. So this is something that we're gonna give you in a moment, and we can start from there. Go ahead, Jose.
Right.
So basically, investor funding is a fund. It's a broker platform where we can get financing. Everything is based on your deal, and we're gonna do it the right way. So then your loan can be structured, and you don't have any problems. When you get to the bank. And I've seen a lot of these, with a lot of investors that they go directly with a lender, and then they get denied because they don't know the guidelines, or because they don't know how to submit this loan. So that's what we do. We structure the deals in order for you to get, funding. And sometimes, if you put a property, let's say put a property in your personal name, and you send it to a lender, and then you get denied and you don't know why. And the problem is that, a lot of lenders, they don't want to do loans in your personal name. They want to do it in a company. So that's what we come handy, and we're going to tell you, if it's in your personal name, probably it's not going to go through. So those little things, make a big, big difference when you're, getting funding for your loans. And these are some of the services that we provide. We do hard money loans for fix and flips. We do cash out refis for properties that you buy, fix, and rent, and then refinance it. So we can do those. We can do long-term financing. We can do multi-units, commercial lending, and also gap funding, which Jose does a lot of this stuff through his company. Do you want to give us a little bit, Jose, of what you guys do for the
Yeah.
gap funding?
Absolutely. So what we do is we specialize in raising capital for entrepreneurs. We don't necessarily just focus on real estate investors, but real estate investors have been our bread and butter over the last several years because they're always looking for money and we're always looking for money. I'm also a real estate investor myself, but I didn't start that way. I started by funding a lot of real estate investing opportunities. And from that point on, we ended up getting involved heavily on real estate investing ourselves. But what we focus on when it comes to a real estate investor is figuring out how can we give them the money that they're looking for. So, for example, Antonio will share more information about this, but we'll go ahead and, or they'll go ahead and, let's say they'll get a $600,000 loan, but it will require, like, say, 10%, 20%, and therefore you may need, like, say, $100,000. Well, some of these hard money lenders or even private money lenders might not give you the full 100%, but we come in and we say, as long as you have a FICO score of at least 680 and perhaps maybe some income, you may or may not have any income, which is not necessarily a requirement, but it definitely helps. We can get you up to $350,000, $350,000 in cash or credit. And therefore, that's going to be enough for you to cover a portion of the money so that you can get the bigger money, which would be coming from, like, say, a hard money loan or maybe a service that Antonio might be giving out. So that's how some of these deals are structured, to where it's 100% finance. And Antonio will go over the details, but there are ways for you to go ahead and do no money down, quote unquote, because the money's not coming from you. It's still coming down from someone. It's just not your personal money. So we can help you as long as you have a 680 FICO score and as long as you have some sort of income. All we require is just a copy of the credit report, and you can simply go to our website. It's www.efundingexperts with an s.com, and you'll be able to inquire as to what we can do without any hard pulls. Of course, we want to make sure we protect your credit. Yeah, but you can take over from there. Do you want me to go ahead and do the next slide
Yeah,
on?
let's do the next slide.
Awesome.
So, you know, if you want to succeed in any business, you need to develop a plan. A goal without a plan is just a wish. That's what Antonio Design said. So, after a difficult year, most people don't know what to do next. So that's why we are trying to develop. I mean, we developed this new vision 2021. So it's a clear vision of what your year can be. Okay, so if you have a strategic plan, then your business can be a successful business. So that's what we gonna give you in this meeting. Let's do the next slide. And one of the first things that you need to do, when you're reviewing, when you're doing a plan, is you need to review your activities. What you did last year, the works that you can implement, to the next year. So one of the things is, by reviewing the last year activities, you can find out what you have done, and also you can find out, what needs to be done. So that way, you can develop a plan for the next year. So let's say, as an example, you can review how many properties did you purchase, what strategies make you money, did you did any wholesale that make you any money, any fix and flips, did you sell any houses? And I mean, if you're a realtor, how many houses did you sell? So everything can be tracked down. You just need to see what you did last year and what you need to improve to the next year. The other thing is, you need to check your financial. How's your credit? Is your credit good now? It was bad last year. It is better now. Do you need more capital? So all these questions, they need to be upfront, and you need to check, what happened last year that you need to do better in this year. Um, and thinking of this, all these questions I did it myself. How was last year? How many deals I did? Probably three fix and flips. Am I going to be able to do five this year? So the other question is, where did you find these deals? You did you call people? Did you call investors? Did you call wholesalers? Did you call any realtor? So there is different ways to find deals. You just need to look for it. And so like I say, if you review last year, it's gonna give you an idea of what you did that works and what you're gonna do in the next year. Um, the other question is, what events did you attend? I mean, last year wasn't a good year to go networking, because it was not networking. But how many Zoom meetings, or how many online classes did you take? So this is something that, if you start doing all this, is gonna get you're gonna get results eventually. The other question: how many books do you read? How many podcasts or webinars did you attend? Um, how many deals did you get done? Whether it was fix and flip, a wholesale, um, rental, you just need to get track of it. And we're gonna have some handouts where you can, do some examples, and where you can put your numbers and see how you did and what you need to do next. The other thing is, a lot of people, what kind of activities, did get you results. Well, if you didn't make any call, if you didn't call any realtors, you didn't put any offers, how are you going to get results? So, what goals did you meet last year? That's one of the big questions. And what you're going to do next? What's the next year is going to look like based on what you did last year? So this is a review of the last year, and what we're going to do to get better this year. Go ahead with the next. So one of the first thing, as an investor, you can do is, put some goals. A goal is something that you achieve, or something that you want to achieve. So, set up goals that motivate you, write it down, plan the steps that you must take to realize your goals. Some of the examples, if you want to buy 6 properties to fix and flip in 12 months, you need to have an idea how you're going to do it. The other, is, do you want to increase your cash flow to $1,000 in the next 2 years? How many properties do you need to have, to rent? Let's say if you need $1,000 and you're cash flowing in 2 properties $500, then you need 2 properties, times 500. So that's $1,000 every month. So, but like I say, you need to set a goal in order for you to make it, because if you say, well, I want to buy 6 properties, but you don't put when, so it can take you 5 years, 10 years. But if you say, I want to buy 6 properties in the next 12 months, then now you have, a timeline on how and where do you gonna, accomplish those 6 properties. Another thing, number 3, if you want to make an extra 2,000 in the next 6 months, what do you need to do? You can do a wholesale and you can make 2,000 to 7,000, let's say. Or you can buy a property, rent it, and cash flow $1,000, each property. So it's just, basic numbers that we don't do. If we break down a year, there is some people who say, I want to make, I don't know, 100,000 a year. Well, you just divide, 100,000 in 12 months, and it's going to look like maybe, what, 10,000. So it's just, making numbers in order for you to achieve the goals.
And that's one of the things that I just want to kind of chime in here real quick, because that's the number one thing that you need to do as an entrepreneur or as a real estate investor is knowing what you want. And I think it seems pretty logical, or maybe even kind of obvious, that you would want certain things and that you know what you want. But I think we would all be surprised to know that even though we may think we know what we want, unless you write it down, it's not really gonna happen. Because how many I remember when I was just starting, I wanted to do so many things, but then as life progresses and as life keeps going on and things are being thrown at us, like let's just say the pandemic or COVID, which a lot of people were not expecting last year, many of us have forgotten what our goals were, if unless you actually write it down. If you have written down your goals, you can always stay focused. And let's just say that, like Antonio was saying, that your goal is for $1,000 in the next 2 years as cash flow. Well, $1,000 may not be enough in 2 years because of the value of the dollar or whatnot, or maybe the cost of what things are gonna be worth in the next 2 years. So maybe $1,000 is not enough. But guess what? If you write down that you want $1,000, then in cash flow in the next 2 years, then maybe that $1,000 is going to turn to 2,000. But unless you actually write it down, it's not going to happen unless you have a really clear idea. Think about how many times, if you go to a bank right now and you try and get a loan for a business, one of the first things they'll ask is, what's your business plan? And Antonio, I'm telling you right now, if I had $1 for every time that somebody said, "Well, this is what my business plan is," and then I said, "Well, do you have it written down so I can take a look at it?" "No, I don't, but I did the math and it's going to cost me $1 million." All right. So you're coming to me asking me for $1 million, but yet you don't have anything written down. It's just
Yeah.
in your head. And then I go with the magic question and I say, well, how much are you currently generating? Well, right now I'm still in my job and I'm making around $25,000 a year. All right. There's nothing wrong with making $25,000 a year per se, because everybody has to make a living somehow. And even for me, when I had a job, I would make around $30,000 a year. And to me, that was great. But let me tell you one thing: if you're out there looking for $1 million and you don't have anything planned, just like maybe your goal is to have 50 properties, but you don't have a specific plan on how to get there, then it's going to be challenging. Because whether it be a business partner, or maybe even Antonio, would you agree? Like even some contractors, before they start doing anything with you, they're going to want to make sure that you have money right in the
Yeah,
bank.
exactly.
Or even private lenders, one of the first things that we ask is, hey, do you have money for the down payment? So a lot of this is important, to write down your goals. If it's important enough in your life, then you're going to write it down. Take 30 minutes to an hour and write down your goals.
Yeah, and these, these examples, will give you an idea. If you want to buy 6 properties in 12 months, how many do you want to buy, every month? How many do you want to buy? Are you going to buy every 4 months? Every 6 months. So, just do the numbers and and see what you need. If you need $1,000 every month, in cash flow, then if you have 2 properties giving you 500 a month, then that's your $1,000. So but it has to be a certain plan or some numbers, for you to concentrate on that. So if you want to buy 12, 6 properties a year, then a couple months you need to buy 1 property, so it doesn't have to be that big. um the other number one, let's say, is the reason or the why, why you're trying to do this. Everybody has a different idea or different needs. What do you want to do this business? Some people want to do it because I want my family to be better. I want to make an extra an extra money, on the side to help my family. I want to quit my job. I have, I need to have some cash flow and retire early. So everybody is different, and some people just, hey, I have a job, but I want to make extra money. So if you know why you're doing this, it's going to be every time you fall down, it's going to be there. And if you want to do it for your children or you want to do it for your family, every time you fail, you're going to say, you know what, I need to come back and do it again, because otherwise my family is not going to eat, or I'm not going to be able to provide for my family, or I'm not going to be able to quit my job, or I'm not going to be able to retire.
The why
So
is more important than the how.
yeah, exactly. So that's the reason, that's the why, um and the other, the next thing is, is the how, or the objective. Where do you want to go with this? What kind, what do you want to achieve with, the investing, or the real estate investing? Where do you want to take this business? So if you have an idea of why you're doing this, and where do you want to take this business, now you're writing down steps. So my reason is because I want to make some extra money, and the objective, okay, where do I want to go? And that's where you say, okay, well, I want to have 12 properties at the end of the year. I want to do two wholesales, or I want to do, three fix and flip. So it depends what you want to do, is how you start planning for the next year. But the other thing is, like, what you did last year that is gonna increase this year. That's also a great start. So then you can see what you did wrong or what you did right last year, and then is gonna help you to plan the other year. um number three number three is something that you need to develop. It's a game plan. What kind of a strategy you're gonna do. And in real estate there is different strategies. I think we already talked about it. We already talked about wholesales, fix and flip, rentals. So a lot of people think that wholesale is the best way to start in real estate because you don't need a lot of money. But actually you can do whichever. You can do fix and flips, and just get partners, or start doing little by little. So you know if this wholesale, fix and flip, or rental, how you're going to generate cash with this. um, the other thing is, if you start with wholesale, you start making, let's say, 5,000 on every property, and you do, I don't know, 5 properties in the year. So that's $25,000 extra. When you have those $25,000, now you can say, well, I have 25,000. Now probably I can do a fix and flip because I have the down payment. Or if your credit is good, then you can go with Jose and get some gap funding, some money. Now you have another 25,000, and that will help you to get to the next level.
In regards to
That
the
will
game,
help you to get to where you can buy at least one property.
and in
No,
regards to the game plan, Antonio, I just want to add, don't be afraid to go for it, because I know that a lot of there's a couple of types of individuals, right? And when it comes to real estate investing, one individual says, "Oh my God, I just finished watching this TV show and I'm going to be a millionaire if I get into real estate." But they don't realize that there's a lot of logistics because it's a real business, right? And another type of individual would say, I don't know, I don't want to get myself too much into debt. And so I'm just going to take it slow and I'm gonna learn as much as I can and then go for it. But then you got the other person who sometimes may be naive, but it may be good that they just go for it. And I just say, depending on where you are, you're not wrong. You just have to go for it. That's why it's important for you to write down your goals. Once you have your goals, that's literally the bullseye, and you're looking to hit the bullseye. You may not hit it, But as long as you have something written down, now you can go after the game plan, which is Antonio, what he was saying is you want to go ahead and see if wholesaling is right for you. Maybe fix and flips, maybe perhaps just starting by referring some deals over. I got a lot of affiliates that refer deals over to me because they're just wanting to get started in real estate. And that's how they start getting little by little associated with how real estate works. They talk to Antonio, I get them on the phone with Antonio, and then they start asking questions. Well, what if I want to invest in this part of property? And then Antonio will go ahead and give out the details as to how and why it may or may not be a good idea to invest. But that's better than watching a television show, and you get to learn little as you go. And I think that's really one of the biggest things is your game plan doesn't have to be perfect, but just go ahead and get started somehow.
Yeah, and yeah, one of the things that when I started, I didn't have any money. I only have um, couple thousand, and I went ahead and and did a course, and it cost me like $9,000, and I use a credit card, and so my main idea was, I need to develop this because otherwise I'm already in the red, and you always gonna find people who's and not crazy like because you always want to find somebody, and I found two people, one that say, hey, I have 5,000, we can do this, we can take it together. So I said, okay, yeah. So I didn't pay the 9,000, I paid 45, but then I found some partners, which I tell them, hey, I'm doing this real estate business. If I show you how to do, 10 houses a year, would you invest with me? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So don't be afraid to ask other people, because there is, like I say, there is other people just crazy like me or Jose or anybody else, that they will say, yes, let's do it. Um, and, you just need to have a game plan, and start doing it.
I have a,
Absolutely. Oh, Luis, do
yeah,
you
I
have
have
a
a,
question?
yeah, I have a question. If I wrote down my ideas and my game plan and everything, but the funds are not there, credit is pretty much okay, good. I want to get into real estate. Can I still get the funds? Like, where do I, I know you said something about the eFund website with you, Jose.
Right.
Um,
I
but I
would
just don't know. I'm just stuck. Where's my next step?
Right. When you have your game plan ready, in this case, like for example, you know where you are credit wise. That's one of the things that myself and even Antonio, we try and figure out. All right, this is where you are, right? So this is where we want to get you. So we want to, if you're on, let's say a 650 credit score, but we need to get you at a 680, there's still options, and there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to get access to money, because you could either use a credit partner, you can use you can actually, we have so many different types of programs, as Antonio may go over them a little bit later, where some of them might require some collateral. Some of them may, depending on the deal that you're trying to do, may be so good that the property itself might qualify as collateral itself. So the credit might not play a big factor. But situations like the ones that you're mentioning, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to get access to money. And that's something that we can go in detail, because it's going to be very
Yeah.
personal. But Antonio, do you want to add anything in regards to that?
Yeah, the not the problem, but um, if you don't know something, they say in English, if you don't know what you don't know. If you don't know that there is money available, I mean, you're just gonna pass by, But what I can tell you is that if you have some credit, if you find properties, if you have some kind, if you're a realtor, if you're a contractor, all those things, can help you, because you might be able to find a property. You might be able to say, hey, I have some credit. There is other people who have money and they don't have credit. So you can always find a partner. So what I suggest is that, just start talking to people. I mean, I'm an investor myself, and I do a joint venture with other people. So we're gonna give you our information, but we can show you how to start. Because that's the problem. If you say, hey, I have credit, but I don't have any money. Yeah, sometimes credit is better than have money. There's people who had money and they don't have credit. You know, the money you can get it. The credit is very difficult to work with. So everything has their own thing. So if you have money, no credit, that's okay. But if you have experience, then that works too. So we'll talk later about it, but you just need to start doing it. Start looking for people who has what you don't have. You know, one of my friends, used to say, you have what other people want, and other people want what you have. So there's going to be people who has money, no credit, and there's going to be others that had credit with no money. So we just need to find it, and that's how you started. I mean, you don't need to have everything in this business. You just need to find who has it.
Yep.
If you go back to number 4,
Number 4.
Jose. So number 4 is time. You need to put a timeline to your goals or to your game plan. So if you say, I'm going to buy my first property in the next, 6 months, then you need to start looking. And it need to be in writing. Or if you want to achieve financial independence, in the next 5 years, or quit your job, in the next 2 years. So they all have to have, a timeline, and they need to be in writing. And if you want to do one property in 6 months, it's half a property in 3 months, and then there's a quarter of a property in 3 months. So it's just um, just break it down, because if you break it down in small pieces, it will make more sense for everybody else, for you and everybody, because now you're not concentrating in the big picture. You say, oh, okay, if I do one property every 6 months, maybe I can do 2 a year. Mm-hmm. So that's how you plan it. And like I say, we're only talking about real estate investing, wholesale, fix and flip, and how this strategy works for those things. Okay. Number 6 is area selection. And number five, I'm sorry, area selection. And this one, you need to define which areas do you want to invest. Not every area is a great area, but if let's say the area that you want to invest and is good for you. I mean, there's people who does, let's say, some of the bad parts in Southside, and they like it because they know the area, they know the market, they know the realtors, they know the people. So it's okay. But also, there's some people say, you know what, I want to do it in the good markets or okay markets. And, that's okay. So what kind of properties do you want to concentrate and where, I used to do properties in Chicago, but for me, it was too far. It takes me an hour and a half to go and see my projects. So now I'm concentrating only in the area where I live, and I can still find properties. So the other thing is, what kind of properties are you looking? Are you looking for single families? Are you looking for 2 to 3 units, 4 units? Are you looking for mixed use? Are you looking for multi-units? So also, are you looking for areas close to your house? So you need to define, where you want to work, what kind of territory, is familiar for you. And, you're going to become the expert in those areas because you know them very well. Even if you work in those areas and you know that, they're very nice areas for rent or for fix and flip, then you can concentrate on those. So that's, something important, especially in real estate, or real estate investing. Number 6 is the standards. You need to define criteria of what you're looking for, define your price, what kind of property, how many beds, how many baths, Also, you can define your max price. So let's say, if somebody tell me, Antonio, what are you looking for? I say, well, I'm looking for properties in Aurora, no more than 120,000, no more than 40,000 in rehab. I need 3 bedrooms, 1 bed, um, and those are the deals that I gonna, concentrate, because those are the deals that I like. But if something comes and is a little bit off, then probably I'll consider, but you need to have define your criteria of properties that you're looking for. So because I mean, and there is nothing wrong, with big properties, 300,000, 500,000. But for me, it wasn't, I didn't have enough money to do those deals. And, a lot of the experts now, they're saying that the money is in the small deals. Because if you get into a $300,000 property, not only you're gonna put, you're gonna pay a lot of fees, you're gonna pay monthly fees, for the loan, and everything is gonna be more expensive. The other thing, if the property, let's say, is ready to go and you put it in the market, not everybody's gonna buy a $600,000 property. You know, that's let's say that's 5% of the population. Huh? Most of the people who qualify for a FHA loan and all those loans, is going to be between, I don't know, 120 and 250,000.
Especially right now, Antonio, because like so many people are actually moving out of the city into the suburbs, and they just want a yard, especially with the quarantine happening, that was happening last year. People are just looking to move out of the city, and that's allowing people to go more into the 200, like $100,000 deals, kind of like the ones you mentioned. It's a lot easier to qualify for those than to qualify for, like, say, half a million or a million plus.
Exactly. So and I mean, a lot of things have changed, and I mean, we can talk about real estate, and what and how COVID has, changed everything. Like you say, a lot of the millennials or the young people, they don't want to be stuck in in a 20 multi-unit, with another, 20, 30 people. And, they don't have a backyard. So now the new, like say, I mean, the new, uh, the new people who's buying, they want a yard for the dog, they want to be outside, just in case, something happened again, they don't want to be stuck in a big building. So that's why, single family houses now, they're being selling like, like not tomorrow. So that's why the market is very, very hot right now. And like I say, this is going to be more fix and flips, but also there's going to be a lot rental because of people who are still in unemployment. I mean, and the big difference between now and 2008 is that, now people had money, because of the relief, because of, unemployment and all this stuff. And, so there is a lot of money out there, and people still buying. And that's what's the new markets coming in 2021. It's going to be, I mean, the market is still great. I'm doing a lot of loans. People still buying, fix and flips. People still buying, properties to rent. So it's coming. Number 7, personal financial. Make sure that your, financial situation, it's okay. Where are you standing today? What's your credit score? I mean, we were talking with this gentleman, and if you have a good credit, I mean, you can get a loan. You just need to find the money for the down payment, and you can, do a fix and flip. You can do a rental. How much capital do you have invested, to invest? Do you have experience? Can you find deals? What do you bring to the table? Are you an investor? Are you a real estate broker? Are you a contractor? I mean, what do? You probably find deals and you don't know how to do them, but we other people knows how to do them. If you just find, a partner, somebody who can do the deal with you, you know, that will bring, your financial, your personal financial to a next level, because now you can do other things. And as long as you do at least one deal, the next deal is going to be much easier, because now people knows what you can do, um, the other thing is, do you have an entity? Do you have a corporation or an LLC? Why? Because a lot of the loans, they're going to be in a corporation or an LLC. Okay. So just make sure that you're ready to invest, uh, because if a good deal comes to your door, you want to make sure that you're ready. And like I say, you can always talk to other people and say, hey, I'm doing this, investing in real estate, you do you want to invest with me? And if they know you well, like, with this guy that I did, I that was my friend for like 5 years. We did other small business, and he believed in me and I believe in him. And he, anything that I do, he was okay with, and I was okay with him. So we have a lot of trust, so I told him, we can do 10 deals a year. And, the thing is, we didn't do 10 deals. We only do seven, but he was happy, because now he knew that what I can do. And after that, after having 6 deals under my belt, anybody say, hey, Antonio, you need money? I have money. So after you do your first deal, there's going to be people with money who's going to say, hey, are you ready? I'm ready. So you just need to find it, find them. Um, so number 8, financing for your deals. And this is something, between credit, your personal financial, and financing for your deals. These are very good steps. You need to, I mean, get to know these plans, because this is what's going to help you to succeed, because you already have your plans, but you don't have your financing in order. So everything is important. So, this is a very important step to plan ahead, even before, you look for deals and put offers. Why? Because, anybody who is, selling property, they're going to want you to, they're going to want a proof of funds and an approval letter. If you're not approved, they're not showing any properties. Okay. So, you need to make sure who you will finance the deals with. Are you using a hard money lender? Are you using, cash? Are you using a private money? Are you doing any, joint venture? Are you getting any partners? Are you ready with your funding, with your gap funding, with the money that you're going to use, to put for down payment? So, finding funding sometimes is a challenging, it's a challenging task, especially if you don't have the experience, um, because in real estate, everything's about experience. Um, so that's why, you need to get pre-qualified, get check your credit, see how much money you have available. And like I say, if you have somebody who's going to be, doing a joint venture with you, do you have any partners? Do you have the money ready? If you have, those steps, planning ahead, that will give you the confidence to put offers, and that will give you the confidence to get deals, because if you put offers, 1 or 2 deals are going to come in, and
And
you're going to start doing these, your first deal,
and the
so
money doesn't mean that they have to have the cash or money in hand, because we have so many different programs out there that you could also use your 401k, your IRA, as proof of funds. And that's something that so many people might say, I don't have any money to invest in real estate, but they may have $30,000 sitting in their 401k. Now keep in mind that every single type of investment requires a sort of risk. And I'm not saying that you have to risk your retirement money, but sometimes we just want to know that you have some money on hand in case you may need it. So if you're putting down an offer, like Antonio said, it's important for you to know where you are financially. And financially, be finances and money can sometimes be a very sensitive topic, because I grew up with a family where nobody talks about money. The reason being is because, it's like, for me, whenever I would ask for something, like, oh, there's no money. Or maybe it's a sensitive topic where, oh, man, money is bad, right? So it all comes back to kind of like your mentality or your mindset. And it's okay to talk about money, because when you're dealing with real estate, everything's about money in a way. You have to figure out what your costs are for a rehab. You have to figure out what your costs are for paying the contractor. You have to figure out how much money do you have to bring to the table at closing. How much are your closing fees? How much money is it really going to cost you for you to get the whole deal done? And then, not to mention that in case there are some, let's say, discrepancies throughout the deal, whether you're doing a rehab or a wholesale, do you have enough money to cover those? Because there's so many people out there that don't put that into account, and they bring only enough to close the deal, but they don't bring enough in case something were to happen. If I want to keep it kind of like very well, if shit hits the fan, basically. Like, do you have enough money to cover those things? Because in real estate, it is very unpredictable. All right, god forbid something happens where maybe it's snowing and now your contractors can't finish the roof, and now you're stuck with this property for another month, and you have to pay your costs. That plays into account. And so, you have to know financially where you stand, even if it's a little uncomfortable. Wouldn't you agree, Antonio? Like, how many times
Yeah,
have you not seen something like that?
yeah, no, it's very true, because there is a lot of stuff in real estate that you don't know, I mean, like you say, if something, let's say I didn't get the roof done, and now is December or January, and nobody wants to go and do a roof, and now I need to get stuck for 2 more months, and the payment doesn't stop, and you need to pay insurance, and you need to pay, the lights and the water and everything, so it's a risky investment, but remember, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. But not everybody, I mean, this is not for everybody, but anybody can do it, but like I say, is you just need to find somebody, crazy enough, just like you, not to start doing this. I find some people, I mean, even, I mean, with Jose, I mean, I'm not the type of guy who can do all these big seminars, but Jose does, and then we got together, and now, we're putting these things, it's
Absolutely.
it's it's just, find somebody who thinks just like you,
And
who
here's the
is
thing as well,
crazy,
and this is kind of like a one of the things that I just want to add to Efrain's question earlier, where he has he knows where he is credit wise, and he wants to know, can I still get funded, or can I still get the money? The answer is yes, because here's another reason, right? Because myself, as being able to fund businesses and different types of entrepreneurs, as well as Antonio, we come across so many different people that have the credit, they have the money, because let's say we give them the money, right? We give them $200,000, 300,000, whatever number it is. And then guess what? Now they're stuck. They're stuck because they say, Jose, I got the money. I'm ready to go into real estate. Now what? Where's the properties? And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, so you're not in the, or well, let's kind of get the ball rolling, because next month you still have to make those payments. And then that's where somebody like Efrain in this situation can come in and say, hey, you have the money, and I have a property that I found that I have already done the numbers, and this is how much profit there is, but I need $50,000. So for these people that have extra money, you can come to us and say, I have a deal, Antonio, I have a deal, Jose. do you have anybody that might be interested in this deal? Guess what? Now you become a partner. And now you personally can go ahead and become a real estate investor or add that real estate investment property into your investment portfolio, because you may not have come in with the money, but you came in with a property, which is just as important.
Yeah.
And see, that's where everybody comes in, and that's where it becomes more of a puzzle piece. You can't do it by yourself. You need contractors. You need somebody that can help you. You need to have your realtor in your pocket. You have to have investors, or maybe even just lenders, or people like myself, people like Antonio. You have to have all those people in order for you to have a good successful business. Because think about it yourself. If you were to do everything yourself, can you imagine going out to Menards, going out to Home Depot every single day, trying to make this deal happen while still trying to work your life, still trying to go ahead and make those payments? And you may end up making more money, but is it really going to be enough if you spend one deal? Let's say you make $30,000 in profit in one deal just because you did it by yourself. Well, $30,000 might seem good for a deal, but is it really good when you spend most of your time, most of the year in that one deal? Because now if you divide the $30,000 for that one year, it's you would have been better off just leveraging it and doing two or three deals, if that.
Yeah. No, no, and I always say, and I done a lot, most of my deals that I done, they're with partners. Maybe three or four, I done it myself. But the thing is, I mean, 20% of 100,000 is better than 0% of 100, right? 100%.
Right.
So yeah. Let's do number nine. So number nine is different ways. I mean, you need to put into your plan, different ways of how you're gonna find these properties. Especially in this market right now, there is different ways. That you can use the MLS. You can find wholesalers. You can do online auctions. Hapsu, auction.com. Home.com, or off market deals, realtors, marketing signs, making calls. So all these, are different ways to find properties. Um, and number 10 is, you have to have your power team. Like Jose was saying, you need to rely on other people. You need to have your realtor, you need to have your attorney, wholesalers, hard money lenders, partners, brokers, title company, contractors, CPAs, partners, friends with influence, friends with money, all these are, your power team, the people who you can call, make the call and say, hey, you know what, Jose, I need an investor, I need 50,000. Do you know anybody? Can you do it? Or, hey, Jose, do you know anybody who can do, who can put a new roof, So all these people, they're going to be, very important when you're dealing with, real estate investments. So, you know, that's one of the the best thing. I mean, you need to have your attorney ready, if you're going to put a contract. um and if you got the contract and you close on the property because you call your harmony guy, like Jose and I, and now you're ready to start constructing this property, but you don't have a contractor. So what are you going to do next? You need to start calling the people on your power team.
And
So
the best people that you can find on your power team are people that other individuals refer over to you. Because what happens is that if you start relying on people that you may not know, there's so many different horror stories out there that, oh, I paid $10,000 to this contractor and he just ran off. He's out there somewhere and who knows where he's at. And see, you can do your due diligence yourself, but you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches and, more importantly, a lot of money, knowing that somebody else referred you this person and that they've done business. with this person for years because now this individual is known as, okay, he's legit. And that's the number one thing. Like, you have to make sure that you do business with the right type of people. In this business, it is very easy to burn yourself, but more importantly, it is a lot easier to get burned, right? Because money's flowing everywhere. Whether you're paying the contractor a certain amount of money, and now all of a sudden, $1,000, $2,000 extra, that's a lot of money for a contractor, but it's even more money for you because that's taking money out of your profit. And sometimes there are very thin margins with some of these deals. If there's a mistake, if there's something with the plumbing, you may be in a hole at that point if you don't do your due diligence, just because you did not do business with the right person. So always feel free to look on Google, look them up on social media, go ahead and ask for referrals before doing business with anyone. And that goes along with yourself. You have to keep that in mind. That's why it's important for you to do the right thing all the time, because the when you burn yourself, like, it's very hard to get out of it, especially in today's day and age where everything's online, everything's on Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, you always want to make sure that you take care of your power team, and that once you find that one person that is very important and very essential to your business, and that you feel that there's a lot of value, don't let go of them and treat them well, because you're not just going to do one deal, you're going to do multiple deals, and that's your go-to person.
And you cannot treat the lender with the money, right?
Right, you can't treat the lender bad. We've had experiences before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a mutual respect out of with the entire power team.
okay, so next slide. So number 11, you need to have an exit strategy. What are you gonna do? What's every time you make a purchase, is that property gonna be a rental? Is that property gonna be a fix and flip? How do you plan, this exit? If it's a fix and flip or rental,
I just want to clarify, Antonio, before you keep moving forward.
uh
Exit strategy does not mean, like, if everything fails, just go to Mexico. This is a
no,
business exit strategy.
no, that's not what it means. It means that you have to have a plan, also. I mean, if you're going to buy a property and you think, you're going to buy it, fix it, and sell it, then, if something happened, then, just make sure that you can refinance it, and that's when I was talking about, if you have a property at about 600,000, it's not going to be easy to rent, but if you buy a property for 120, put 20 is $180,000 property, you can always find somebody to rent it, So is that's what you need to have, your exit strategy, and that's why the credit comes handy, because let's say you purchase the property, you rehab it, and then you're gonna sell it, but you couldn't not sell and say, well, I'm gonna rent it and refinance it. But if you don't have the 680 credit that the lender requires, then you cannot refinance it. So if you rent it, do you have the credit to refinance it? If you don't sell it, do you have the capital to keep paying? Um, Having the right strategy, will help you if for some reason, money is stuck on the deal. So like you were saying, if something happened, you just need to be making sure that you have the money, you have the credit in order for you to refinance, or just wait until you can sell. Okay,
Absolutely.
next. So an action plan, once you have your plan set up, it's time to break them into small, pieces. As yourself, what activities do I need to do in order to achieve my goals? For example, in order to acquire 6 properties, I will need to do this, spend 2 hours per day online auctions, to find 10 properties. Or I will spend, 1 hour per day calling brokers, wholesalers, homeowners for leads. or I need to analyze properties to submit at least one offer for every 20 properties. And from those 20 offers, at least I can purchase one property every 20 offers submitted. So if you submit 20 properties, you might gonna get one, or 10, or I mean, it depends. So the other one, I will meet, one person in my network at least once per week to get properties, partners, money, or money to invest. So I mean, now even in social media, even in Facebook and all other social media, you can still find friends. You can still find people with money who can probably do loans, deals with you. So this is kind of an action plan. We're going to show you kind of breakdown of these plans with hours and what do I need to do. And I think you guys have this handout for the next and then you can kind of copy oh, okay, if I do this, how many calls do I need to make? If I do if I do this, what do I need to do next? So that's the breakdown of the activities. So if for 2 hours I call leads, how many properties do I get? Where? Okay, so it can be calls, it can be online, checking properties online on Hapsu and auction.com, and let's say 1 hour to find 10 to 20 properties in MLS, or with wholesalers, or with realtors. 2 hours I need to analyze 10 to 20 properties, and that's you need to do that. Then next I need to 2 hours. I offer make 2 offers, 20 offers a week. 1 hour I need to buy one property for every 20 properties that I use. And if you see the other breakdown is, if I want to do 6 flips a year, in 6 months I need to do 3 properties. 0.25 a month, 0.62 a week, 0.10 a day. If I want to do 5 rentals, how many properties do I need to buy? Oh, I can buy in 6 months 2.5 properties, so I can have 5 in a year. Or a month I need to do a quarter of a property. So if you break down your numbers, if I want to do 12 wholesales, I need to do 6 wholesales every 6 months, or I need to do half a wholesale or one wholesale a month, in order for me to have 12 wholesales a year. If I
Oh,
want to do 3 joint ventures, I need to do 1.5 every 6 months. I need to do probably one once a month. And this is like I say, if you're a realtor, how many, if I want to make sales, how many sales can I make? And if I want to make 12 sales a year, I need to make 6 a month, half a
hey,
month.
Antonio, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because my mind works a little bit different. How do you do half a wholesale in 1 month?
It's just a number, if you do at least one every month, or once a month, and the next month you don't do any, or the next 3 months you don't do anything, it's like
All
I
right.
did half.
I was
I
just
did half
curious
and half
because
a
I'm like,
month.
I'm like, my mind's wondering, like, all right, do I just go out there and they're like, all right, I
I
only
know.
want to do the bathroom today?
Are you drinking water, or what are you thinking?
No, it's water.
Yeah, so this breakdown will help you to see what kind of activities are you doing. Even for a contractor, hey, if I want to do 20 jobs a year, I need to break it down. So I do 10. If I do one a month, I do 12 contracts in a year. So it works for everybody else, which is putting it into strategies that we use in real estate, like flips, rentals, wholesales, and other stuff. So um yeah, so as we know, it may take a lot of work. It may take effort and work, and an effort that we plan, for. But the idea is to start doing it in small, insignificant work to achieve big goals. Um, the problem or the thing is, um, you can start small, and there, you're gonna grow from there. you know, I don't know if it was Tony Robbins or it was one of these guys who said, um, success it comes, um, the success it will come, but it you need to work. You know, nobody gets to where they are right now without working. Everything. I mean, you can be successful, but you need to work.
And keep,
And
absolutely. And keep in mind, like one of the things that I would like to say is that a lot of successful people, and I don't know if you guys saw the news or not, but we got a new world's most richest person in the world now is Tesla's Elon Musk. And see, if you guys read some of their books, like these guys are very hardworking, but I just want to reiterate that hard work or working does not mean physical. All right. Working can mean so many different things, but if you are at least reading or doing your research or calling that realtor and having them give you access to maybe perhaps access to some properties that are available around your area, that's work. All right. If you're putting something like right now with you guys being able to invest this time into taking a look into the Zoom, this is work. But work doesn't have to be physical. It's smart working and being able to operate where everything comes easily, because nobody here wants to do all this amount of effort and not get anything in return or very little. We all want something, and that's really one of the things that we're here for, because once you get the game going, once you figure this out into what you want, then you'll reap the benefits, whether it be more time, right? You want to spend more time with your family, you want to spend more time doing things that you love, traveling, collecting cars, living in a beautiful house. And it's not necessarily the material things, because everybody's always looking for something different, but rather what is, again, goes back to your why. The amount of time that you put into something, that's the amount of the amount of effort, or reap the benefits, the amount of benefits that you'll reap from it.
yeah.
And yeah, and I appreciate that, Antonio, so thank you for reiterating that.
Yeah, and remember, that everything will take time. So if it doesn't work the first month or 2 or 3 months or first year, don't get discouraged, because it's not going to happen overnight, but eventually it will be a reality. Eventually it will happen, you know. So that's I think one of the main things I leave you with, um, I don't know if you saw last time in my Facebook that I was I was checking my 5 years ago. I did my first fix and flip, and and I mean we done probably 18, and the next 3 years. So um, everything will take time. And the first year was mostly I was learning. It was a learning experience. Um, but like I say, it'll happen eventually. So
Don't give
with
up.
that, I think if they have questions, I mean, we can talk about the loans. I think you have some handouts for the loans too. We
Yeah,
can do the all the Harmony loans, fix and flip loans, and all the
absolutely.
stuff.
And
We're gonna have other seminars where we're gonna explain a little bit more. This was mostly so you can have an idea of how you can tackle your new year. Whether whether you're a realtor, contractor, flipper or anything, I think it'll work. And I mean, it took me a long time to do this, and I did a lot of research because you know I did it for myself, because I wanted to do this, and put a plan together. But I like I say, I wanted to share with everybody and you know see if it
that's
works for them.
absolutely. And here's the other thing too, you guys. First of all, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to join us. And we're really doing this for you guys, but in a selfish way, we're doing it for ourselves, because we also learn from many of you that are on the line. See, we're doing what we're basically recommending you guys to do as well. You want to put yourself out there. How do you expect someone to say, "Hey, I got a deal," if they don't even know that you're in the real estate business, right? So we're doing this ourselves because we wouldn't do something that we wouldn't recommend others to do. We've been doing this for over 10 years now, and the one thing is network. Go out there, go and join other Zoom events. Put yourself out there so that if you do get a chance to if you do find somebody that perhaps maybe you feel that there might be of value to your business, or maybe they can help you and start in any way, there's no accidents in this universe. There's no accidents in life. You may end up finding that person that has that property that is the first property. You may not even be looking for it, and they may just offer it to you and say, "Hey, I'm trying to get rid of my deal. Do you know anybody that might purchase it or that might want to buy it?" And that's an opportunity. I mean, Antonio, do you want to share a little bit of your of your experience with that opportunity that you purchased, I believe, from one of your investor partners that turned out to be a really good deal for you? Because I think that's a great story. A little motivation for everyone.
Not there. Yeah. So
You weren't even looking for it, right?
no, I wasn't looking for a property, and this, this guy that we know from the same network said, "Hey, I have a property in Aurora that it's a 3 units, and they want to sell it. I don't." They said they want 55,000, 50, 60,000. So I said, well, I'm not looking in Aurora, right now. And if it's a 3 units for that price, maybe it's nothing, good. And one day I was in Aurora, and I said, well, maybe I'll take a look at it. So I called this guy, and he said, yeah, I have the code. You can go and take a look at it. So I went to see the property, and it looks good, outside. So I said, how much do you want? They, well, it's a little bit burned inside, but we want, 65,000. And I said, no, you know what? Probably I can do 55. And he said, you know what, man, I need to make some money. And he said, okay, so how much you want? I said, well, give me 55 and 55 for the client, and I make 3,000. I said, okay, let's do it. So that property, it cost me probably about 60,000. We put about 40,000 on it. So, we invest probably 100,000, and which is, we fix everything. It's been rented for like 2,700. The payment is only like 1,300, but the property value is like 230,000. So, and I wasn't looking for that property, and this guy, he offered it to a lot of people, and nobody wanted it. So, so that's why I say, it's very important. I mean, you can talk to other people, but you can network. You don't know when a good deal is gonna come. So that property is, like I say, is cash flowing 1,400 a month, and it's already making the payment. So 27 a month minus the payments, like 1,300. So, but there will be opportunities when they know what you can do with them.
Yep. And you wouldn't have gotten in front of that opportunity if you wouldn't have put yourself out there, and people know that you do real estate.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
all of you guys are real estate investors.
And he's a friend of
Whether
you,
you
right?
have yeah, absolutely. Whether you have a deal or not, if you're just looking right now, affirm to yourself that you are a real estate investor, and you'll start attracting deals. You may not have the money for it, but as long as you have a deal, then you'll figure out the money. The money is not an issue. It is more about finding the opportunity. And then if you have a really good deal, let's just say that you have an extremely good deal, even if it's not extreme, but if it's a pretty good deal enough, then you'll find investors like maybe myself, maybe like Antonio, maybe somebody else, and we'll say, "Hey, that's a really good enough deal. We don't even have to take you through the funding process. I will invest ourselves." And that's really how it happens. You never know how it's going to happen. You just need to go out there, put yourself out there, and get it going. But if anyone has any questions, we're open to go ahead and answer any questions. We are always available, of course. You guys can go ahead and reach us out via our websites or even just our contact information, which will be in the video. My website is efundingexperts.com. So that's efundingexperts with an s.com. And then Antonio, what's your website?
My website is theinvestorfunding.com.
Theinvestorfunding.com. And
the
then, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, theinvestorfunding.com.
Yep. And then if you guys want to reach me, you can actually reach me at my office, which is 833-568-4712. So that's 833-568-4712. And then what's the best number for you, Antonio?
They can call me at 630-640-9060. Usually I answer the call. Usually.
Yeah. So anyone have any questions before we close it down, or anything in particular that you want to go over?
I'm sorry. Are you gonna send these slides like on the email or anything like that?
I can go ahead and or Antonio, is that fine? Because I know this is your PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, they can have the handout, and also you can send the ones with the loans. We have another handout where we have the fix and flip loans, what you need, and also for the rental properties and line of credits and all this stuff. Yeah, so and if you have any questions, you can always call us or email us.
Yeah, so I'll send that over. I'm also going to be putting this video out on YouTube. I'll send the link to it once we've gone ahead and done that. But again, I want you guys to use us as your resource. We are part of your power team. If you have any questions, remember, it's not one person that you know, but it's rather a lot of people, because if you look at us from a perspective of me, it's not just knowing me, but I know a lot more people like Antonio. I know a lot more people that Antonio may not know. And so your network is not just one person, but your network is thousands of people. And so
Wow, awesome.
So thank you guys for coming to this meeting, and I hope you learned something. Usually I say if you learn one thing, we did our job, right, Jose?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything else to add, I want to thank you guys for coming to the Zoom. We're going to be doing way more Zoom events, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys at our next Zoom, and we'll send out an email blast with the PowerPoint and the recording of this video. All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so-
Thank you.